We have an international incident on our hands.
Some characters never really leave the world they belong to. Even when their story feels finished, something always pulls them back in. And that's exactly what seems to be happening with Jack Ryan. After 3 years of silence, the official trailer for Jack Ryan Ghost War has finally arrived. And the moment I watched it, one thing became immediately clear. This is not just a continuation. This feels like a full escalation, because if you remember how the Prime Video series ended, it actually gave Jack something rare. Closure.by the end of Season 4. The corruption inside the CIA had finally been exposed. Jack had done what he set out to do, and on a personal level, he reunited with Kathy after being separated for multiple seasons. It felt like the kind of ending that could have easily closed the book on the character, but clearly, that's not what's happening. The new trailer opens with a situation that instantly raises the stakes. James Greer, played once again by Wendell Pierce, is caught in a devastating explosion. The attack appears to be carried out by a radicalized military group, and from the way the scene is presented, it almost costs him his life, and that moment is what pulls Jack Ryan back into the field. But here's what I find interesting. The trailer makes it very clear that Jack hasn't been active for a while. There's a sense that he stepped away after everything that happened in the series. He's no longer constantly moving from one global crisis to another. He's been living a quieter life, which raises an important question. What kind of threat is serious enough to bring someone like Jack Ryan out of that kind of peace? Because if you've followed this character over the years, you know he doesn't come back unless the situation is extremely dangerous, and based on the footage we're seeing, this mission looks bigger than anything he's faced before. The group responsible for the attack doesn't feel like a typical enemy. There's an organized, almost militarized structure behind them. This isn't just a random act of violence, it's coordinated, and it suggests something much larger is unfolding in the background. One of the strongest elements of the original series was how grounded everything felt. Even when the stakes were global, the conflicts were rooted in political tension, intelligence operations, and realistic threats. Ghost War seems to be building on that foundation while pushing the intensity even further. The trailer also confirms something that fans have been speculating about. This film will carry an R rating. That detail alone changes expectations significantly. The series was already known for its serious tone, but moving into a more mature rating suggests the film will explore darker territory, more intense action, more brutal consequences, fewer limitations, and honestly, that might be exactly what this story needs, because if this really is a cinematic expansion of the Jack Ryan universe, it needs to feel bigger than the show, and so far, it does. John Krasinski returns once again in the lead role, and at this point, it's hard to imagine anyone else playing this version of Jack Ryan. When he first took on the character back in 2018, there was some skepticism. After all, many people still associated him with Jim from The Office, but over 4 seasons, he completely redefined how audiences saw him. He turned Jack Ryan into a character that felt both intelligent and physically capable. Someone who could analyze complex situations but also handle himself in high-risk environments. And now, stepping into a feature film format, that version of the character gets to evolve even further. Wendell Pierce also returns as Greer, and their dynamic remains one of the strongest parts of the story. Their relationship has always felt grounded in mutual respect and experience. Seeing Greer placed in immediate danger at the start of the film adds emotional weight to the mission, because this time, it's not just about stopping a threat, it's personal. Michael Kelly is also back as Mike November, another familiar face from the series. His presence suggests that the film will continue building on the relationships established in the show rather than starting from scratch. But one of the most intriguing additions to the cast is Sienna Miller. The trailer introduces her character briefly, but doesn't reveal much about her role in the story. And that lack of information immediately creates curiosity. Is she an ally, a new intelligence asset, or someone with her own agenda? The fact that the trailer keeps her character mysterious suggests she may play a key role in the unfolding events. And speaking of mysteries, there's one notable absence in the footage: Kathy, for a character who was so important to Jack's personal story. The trailer offers no clear update on where she is or what her relationship with Jack looks like now. That silence feels intentional, because if the film wants to raise the emotional stakes, leaving that part of Jack's life uncertain could become an important element. Later in the story, the structure of the trailer also hints at something else. This isn't just a single mission. It feels like the beginning of a larger conflict. The term Ghost War itself suggests a hidden battle, a conflict that isn't fully visible, something happening beneath the surface while the rest of the world continues as normal, and that concept fits perfectly within the Jack Ryan universe. Covert operations, invisible threats, decisions made in the shadows that shape global events. That's the kind of storytelling this franchise has always done well. Another interesting aspect of this film is its place within the larger Jack Ryan legacy. This character has been portrayed by multiple actors over the decades. Alec Baldwin first brought him to life in The Hunt for Red October. Harrison Ford continued the role in Patriot Games and Clear and Present Danger. Ben Affleck and Chris Pine each offered their own interpretations in later films, but Krasinski's version is unique because it evolved over multiple seasons of television. We've seen his development in a way that earlier versions didn't have time to explore, which makes this film feel less like a reboot and more like the next chapter in a long-running story. Behind the camera, the film is directed by Andrew Bernstein, who has worked on several major television series known for strong character-driven storytelling. The script is written by Aaron Rabin and John Krasinski himself, with the story developed alongside Noah Oppenheim. That creative team suggests a focus on both action and narrative depth, which is exactly what a project like this needs. Production involves multiple major studios, including Paramount, Skydance, and Amazon MGM, indicating a significant level of investment in the film's success. And that raises another important point. If Ghost War performs well, it could open the door for future films in this universe. Instead of limiting Jack Ryan to television, the character could become part of a larger cinematic franchise. But for now, everything depends on this one release. Jack Ryan Ghost War is scheduled to premiere on May 20th on Prime Video, and based on what we've seen so far, the film has the potential to deliver a more intense, more mature, and more cinematic version of the story fans already love. Now I want to ask you something. Do you think bringing Jack Ryan back after such a complete ending was the right move? Or should the story have ended with the series finale? Because if this film succeeds, it might prove that some characters are never truly finished. They're just waiting for the next mission. Thanks for watching. Share your thoughts in the comments. This is where these kinds of films come to life. Until the next story, stay curious, be critical, keep your eyes on the screen, and remember, every film you haven't seen is a new film.